Hello guys, and welcome back to my backyard and also to our youth devotional. Okay, so I told you in the first lesson that I brought you back here because this is like a brook to me. This is a place where I come to meet God and fill up on His Word. And the Bible tells us that Elijah the prophet met God in a brook where God gave him His Word and strengthened him and gave him what he needed to be an authentic follower and to have God's Spirit inside of him for his journey ahead. So this is why I brought you here today. And last week we talked about this dollar right here, how it's raw and it's kind of used and worn down, but it has value and it has the value of $1. So today we're going to look at this dollar right here. This dollar is counterfeit. It's smooth, it's bright, the colors are nicer, it looks nicer, it's printed newer. But the problem with it is that it doesn't have the same value as this one. It doesn't have the right markings. So we're going to talk about a story from Luke chapter 11 verses 37 through 46, where Jesus went to go have a dinner with a group of people to minister to them. Some scribes, some lawyers, some priests, some Pharisees. He wanted to minister with them. And he sat down for dinner, and immediately they started asking him, whoa, you didn't do the ritual washing. And you know what God said? You guys are nice and clean on the outside, but you're full of greed and wickedness on the inside. And he said you need to take time to dedicate your inner self to God. So that's what we're going to talk about today. In the book of Luke, Jesus gives us 4 characteristics of a counterfeit follower of Christ. So the first one is that they were driven by appearance. They were doing something like that ritual washing just to look good for others. So they were more concerned about what others thought about them than what God thought about them. And Jesus said that the outside of your cup is shining, but it's the inside of your cup, what you have in it, that God looks at. The second one is focused on trivial things. They were so focused on small religious practices, such as they were dividing up herbs and spices to tithe, that they weren't focusing on others and on loving others the way that God has loved them. And then the third aspect was that they were seeking recognition. They wanted the best seats in the house. They wanted the formal greetings. They wanted to look good to others and be recognized, but it revealed that they had a love for themselves more than they had a love for God. And then the fourth characteristic was that they were making up rules. So these scribes were writing in little laws and rules that were making it very, very vigorous and hard to worship God. And so then the people were so focused on following these rules that they weren't focused on actually pleasing God. They were only focused on these made up rules. And so God says that you should be living to please God and not look pretty on the outside. So that's why we're here today, to make sure that we are filling up our cup with God's Word on the inside. So even though we may be shiny and polished on the outside of our cup, God is looking at what's on the inside of His cup and seeing if that is pleasing to Him. So this week, I want you guys to read the book of Luke, chapter 11, verses 37 through 46. And I want you to remember that looking at God rather than looking at others will help you fulfill your purpose in Him. I want you to work on filling up your cup with things that are pleasing and good to God. Okay, have a good week. Bye.